Does anybody mind if I record this meeting?
We'll try to keep it clean.
Okay, well, it looks like we have a critical mass. Let me just turn off another background noise here.
Looks like you're back in the office, Leroy.
Yeah, I've been here off and on. Hey, Bob's here.
Hi, Bob.
It's a little bit noisy. We're doing the HVAC improvements.
Everybody,
Hello.
you guys hear me?
Yep.
Loud and clear.
Hey, Leroy, you may want to start the meeting by giving everybody an update on our report to the Township Board.
Alrighty. Well, you might hear some ladders and banging in the background, but rest assured that good things are happening at the town hall. One of them happened virtually on Tuesday night, and we got an opportunity to present the climate emergency resolution. Gave our climate action report, which you all helped with preparing last year, actually. We also discussed the coal tar sealant PAH ban. And then finally, we talked about an environmental review of our code of ordinances, which is a kind of an exciting opportunity for us, as well as the Environmental Commission and other folks who are concerned about green infrastructure and things like that. So it was very well received. John did a great job presenting the emergency resolution. The board was asked some good questions and even offered to help. It looks like they're going to approve the resolution and the PAH ban at their next meeting. So that's exciting. And some heads nodding on the climate action report. And then there was general agreement to proceed with the environmental review of our code of ordinances, but exactly how we do that is still in the planning phases. I think one of the discussions is to have sort of like we did with our master planning session, maybe a public, or at least a gathering of the commissions that are more interested in participating and helping with that. So
Yeah, good.
That's just a quick recap. Anything you want to add, John?
No, we kind of got this ball rolling a little when we discussed that EV charging ordinance that East Lansing had implemented, and we had one thing led to another. Before too long, we had a environmental review of all the ordinances, which I think is marvelous.
Great.
Well, part of me feels like we should have just stuck with the EV charging.
Right.
But it does seem like there's some opportunities.
We have taken on the township, not us, has taken on a large task.
Right.
Well, welcome everybody.
Okay.
Other items on the agenda
Where's
are...
your sound up here? It's probably off here.
Oh, I see.
we can hear you.
Try it now. Just try it. It's just.
I think first on the agenda was the virtual solar home
you
tour.
can turn it up.
It says you're gonna do this thing.
Hi, Bob.
Don't touch anything.
Excuse me.
What do I do? Just turn it on.
I had sent out a
You have to do
list of potential sites for the Now, the Lansing area virtual solar home tour, which is Meridian Township, is well represented. And we now have a couple options for host sites. One is Meridian Township has now on their YouTube channel a playlist for our solar stories. And somehow I figured out how to do a YouTube channel for Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association now. So we're posting all the Zoom recordings there. And so I guess I have two questions related to it. One is that I had sent out the list of sites. Are there any sites that I missed that you think would be good sites? And I already forgot the second question.
What about Anne? I'm sorry, my mind's escaping me. The Sierra Club woman who has they have solar as well.
And why would he?
Yes, her. Yeah.
I'll put her on the list.
And another one, if you're looking for stuff in Lansing, we completed the Grace Lutheran rooftop mount about a couple weeks ago. It's, right off Saginaw in the heart of sort of downtown Lansing. And I know the pastor's been really, excited to try and get the word out there about the project. We had City Pulse there and Channel 6 and stuff. So I'm sure they'd be more than happy to be included in it. In fact, I'm sure they would love to. And it's a really nice, pitched roof, but really steep. So pretty impressive because it was a steep one and looks really nice right on MLK. And it's right downtown Lansing. So I think it might be a good location as far as if you're trying to get that, sort of center Lansing. I could reach out to him if you
Yes.
like.
Yeah. Could you, Rob? Because obviously
Sure.
they don't know who I am, and I think you probably have enough information to kind of just see if they have some interest.
Oh, I'm sure they would. I mean, because they've made a point to get some local media and stuff there because they want people to know that this is important, that they're supporting solar in general. So, yeah, I think they'd be a great option. I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, related to Grace Lutheran, in fact, I thought of a second question. We have options for the virtual solar tour include these Zoom recordings, and we can kind of plug people in between now and October. Another option is, home TV recordings. We talked before about maybe they would do something on the Township 20 kilowatt system. And, there are some people that might be very capable of doing their own kind of walk around with their smartphones or whatever. Certainly I would be able to. I guess this leads me, Rob, to the question for Grace Lutheran. Is there video already? Would they be interested in a Zoom presentation? How do you think?
I think they would be. I mean, they've been really great as far as advocating for solar in general and trying to get community awareness to it. So I think they'd be open to the idea. Channel 6 already was there doing some video. I think what ended up airing was very, very brief compared to what they actually got while they were there. So I don't know if that recording would be worth too much, but I think they'd be open to maybe making a new recording for Zoom. There's a few people there I could think of that would probably be more than willing and capable of, doing that. They would just probably want to see some sort of, what to expect kind of thing. Like what would you look for and how long should it be? And just, so maybe if they watched a couple of them, then they would sort of know how to approach it. But yeah, I think they'd be very open to that idea. I'll reach out to their board and see if anybody wants to do that. Yeah, I think they would. So I'll reach out to them.
Sounds great.
How long do you?
Do you have any? And maybe this is too early. Do you think home TV might be interested? Well, actually, we got the home TV video from Rogers, which is another possibility for the the tour. But would they do something like for the Township Hall, or who knows?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Their budget was cut in half this year, which makes it a little bit more challenging to get their attention. I've got some calls into them about this issue, and I think one of the questions that you had was, or one of the issues for home TV is, do we focus on Meridian or do we focus regionally? And I love the regional focus. It makes a lot of sense. But so we might want to look for other regional partners beyond home TV to help with the production. And I don't know if that's the Lansing Media Center, television station, other video producers that that might help us produce a show. So I'm just thinking out loud here, because if it's beyond Meridian, that all of a sudden makes it a little bit less home TV, like they would take the ball with it. They certainly contribute, and they have contributed, but so I think you get my point.
Yeah, the only expectation, I mean, I wouldn't expect that they would go beyond our boundaries, but that's why I suggested the Township Hall. But it, you know, they could, obviously they're posting it on the YouTube's channel, right, for Meridian Township. But there's no reason why they wouldn't want to be part of the Lansing area virtual solar home tour, right? Because it's just more publicity. But
Yeah.
I think your idea is a good one about reaching out to other folks. I don't have a clue who they might be, but you know, maybe we'll run across them. Any one of us might run across somebody who might be an ally. And I guess here, you know, I don't see much. You know, we actually already will have a decent number for Lansing area with what is already planned. I don't see any downside to having more stories, just because you know, people can come and pick and choose what they want to watch and come back later and whatever. I think so we'll have sites, stories to tell. I guess the biggest problem, which is always the problem, is getting the word out to people so that they kind of come to either the Meridian Township site or the GLREA YouTube channel to kind of take a look. But getting the word out is always a challenge.
Yeah. A couple other, you know, the State Journal and the City Pulse might be allies as well. Their media's formats are changing a little bit, and people are always looking for content.
I mean, City Pulse was more than willing to come out to Grace Lutheran, and they wrote an article about the project, and that's up. Great article. The only thing I explained to him that the panels were rated for about 110 to 115 miles an hour. For some reason, he wrote 150. I'm like, that's a little excessive.
All right.
Right.
Set
but
up
I was
for a
like,
hurricane.
right. I'm like, other than that, it's great. And they were very willing to come out and kind of and talk about it. So that might be a good resource as well.
Well, I
Channel
want those
6
panels.
was there. Yeah, right.
The social media clips could probably even get more mileage than the actual tour. So maybe when we approach home TV and others, if we can think about, okay, what are the bite-size clips that we want to produce on this, and then where do we send people? Maybe a website. There could be a website that's that has the links to the various tours or the various stories. That could be one of the destinations. Maybe GLRA already has that, but I wouldn't necessarily send them to a video watch list on Meridian's YouTube channel. It's not quite as sexy and helpful.
The GLREA will again have a page on our website which would identify all the local tours or open houses around the state. So included in that can be the Lansing area solar home tour and how to access it. And I guess the struggle is really how much detail to give there and how many people go to our the GLREA website anyway. But there will be that portal or point of access for any statewide tours or open houses. I'm pretty sure, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I think statewide, most of it will be virtual, I think. Although the Grand Rapids people were talking about, I have an in-person tour of a house and just kind of manage it so that, people, I guess, make reservations and go at different times, wear masks and that sort of thing. So there may be some actual visit sites, but I think it'll be limited.
Great. Any other thoughts on this topic?
Well, I really like the discussion. I think this is just a really, really good thing to get this word out and let people know what's going on and to have real stories of people that are doing stuff. The solar home tour is a great idea, and doing it virtually with all this variety is just really excellent. So, sounds good.
My only question would be, when you say the surrounding area, are we talking kind of just to Lansing, or I mean, would Grand Ledge be too far? I'm just wondering because okay, so the whole area.
Eaton Rapids, Langsburg, St. John's. I mean, I think of the Lansing area as kind of tri-county.
Okay, like Williamston.
Sure.
Okay, because if you needed more, I mean, let me know, because there's the 50 kilowatt ground mount in Williamston. It's huge for a house, but looks great. It would be, a good one. And I think he's more than happy to kind of, sort of show off the system because it's pretty impressive. I think he'd be open to it. And then I have some Grand Ledge people that I think would, DeWitt as well. So I guess just let me know if you think you need more. I'm planning on reaching out to, Pastor John and Grace Lutheran. But beyond that, if you want more of that surrounding area, Grand Ledge, DeWitt, Williamston, I'm sure could find some willing participants there as well. So I guess, are you looking for just the more the merrier kind of thing since it's a virtual tour?
Well, I don't see it is nice that, when we talk about the Lansing area, that we have homes in various communities, Grand Ledge, Eaton Rapids, Williamston. And so that's a real plus. And I don't, if people are interested, I don't see much point in having too many sites. I don't know. What does everybody think? Is it overwhelming to go to a site and have 20, 30 homes to look at? I don't know.
So, I mean, it's all virtual though, right? It's not being done in person at all.
Exactly. It's all virtual. It's all recordings or videotapes, or none of it's live. Right.
I think that's a pretty good idea, because with the in-person, when you have too many, people aren't going to go to every single one. They're going to do the ones that are probably most convenient on their drive, so I would feel bad for some people maybe on the outskirts. Not many people show up, but if it's virtual, it's really flexible. People can view it over a course of days, pick and choose. It leaves a lot more options. I think in a way it ends up maybe providing even a better experience, because you can see more and you're not restricted with drive times, all that. So.
And I guess, Rob, the last thought is that as you think about it, because somebody's going to have to at some point do a presentation, do a recording. So you may think in terms of who of your clients
would be
presenters.
Sure.
And because not everybody's familiar with doing PowerPoints or walk around smartphones.
Sure.
And then the other issue is if there's something unique or different about a site, that might add diversity to the final list of tour sites.
Well, there's one type of system, a ballast system at the Islamic Center, which is kind of unique because there's not a ton of ballast systems being installed. So, I mean, that's a possibility. And then I think we're going to do University Lutheran next door, which will also be a ballast system. That may or may not be done in time, but the Islamic Center is completed. And they've always been, you know, really happy to kind of get the solar word out there and support it. So that's another one. And it's unique in that it's ballast. So a little different. But you can't really see it so much from the ground. So it's mostly like aerial sort of drone video. But I mean, my connection there, he might be willing to do something as well. And he's quite tech savvy, so I'm sure he'd be able to figure out, you know, the video and everything. So it's another option.
Well, you know, one thing that just dawned on me too is you know, we have a variety of homeowners and institutions on our, I guess, because this is Lansing area, the Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association YouTube channel. They kind of tell their members, neighbors that, hey, you want to watch me on YouTube? You know, and so people end up going to the channel, and then they might look at some other videos. So that might be a good way for people to just kind of attract attendees.
Oh, and Fox 47 too, they're a local broadcaster in this whole area. I've gotten to know one person there fairly well. I mean, they might be a willing participant as well. I'm not exactly sure what their, you know, like a Channel 6 or Fox 47, what their role would be necessarily, or how that would work. But I think they would be interested in sort of hearing us out. I guess if I was to say approach Fox 47, sort of how would I sort of explain, I guess, what their role would be? Kind of wondering how to
One
phrase that.
possibility would be and it could be October 1st. It could be that Saturday is the 3rd or the 4th. You know, literally it could be just like, oh, by the way, in our Lansing area, we're having now a virtual solar home tour.
Oh, okay. So just kind of like mention it sort of on their morning news kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. They might be willing to do that. I'll reach out to them.
Yeah. Because, you know, they might, I mean, the solar home tours have gone been around here for a long time, but, you know, since this is probably the first virtual solar home tour, that might.
Yeah, that's kind of different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And do we have a date? October?
Well, you know, I've been describing as the tour of, obviously the videos are up now so people can go whenever they want to look at them. But in order to kind of expand what people think, I've been kind of thinking in terms that the tour this year, part of the national tour, is all of October.
All of October, okay. And then the places where they could basically say go visit. So it would be what, Meridian's website and then GLREA's website?
Well, the YouTube channel.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll reach out to him.
Oh, super. That's great.
Well, when you say YouTube channel, do you mean link to GLREA's YouTube channel?
Well, what I've been telling people is basically go to YouTube and search for Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association. And then it comes up.
So that if that's what you would want Fox 47 to say, essentially?
Yes.
Is
basically,
okay.
You know, we're having a virtual solar home tour and there's lots of Lansing area sites there. And, you know, if you want to kind of see what your neighbors and churches are doing, go to YouTube and search for and it's got to be Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association. You know, that's the name of the channel.
Okay. And depending on it, you know, obviously I'll have to see if they would agree to it, but they might be able to put like, oh, and you can find the link on our website or something.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Maybe something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have a link from our website, and, you know, I've been keeping it simple by just basically saying, go to YouTube and search, because then you don't have to mess around with whether links work or not, but the link makes it easier for some folks.
Sure. Okay. And then the other location would be on Meridian's website.
Well, no, Leroy, how would you describe that?
Or a link from there.
Okay. How would I describe Meridian's website?
Or just how to get to the solar home tour via the Meridian's page. Is that an option, or?
That's a good question. I like the idea of a page at glrea.org that directs people, like a landing page for the event that directs people to the GLREA website, and then potentially the if there are videos that are not on GLREA's website or YouTube channel, we can also point them to Meridian's. But if they're already on GLREA's YouTube channel, which I have not subscribed to that, and so I was just looking at it right now. I'll put a link in the comments box here to their website, but if not, then we can have just a link there at the glrea.org, whatever that landing page ends up being for the tour. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just wondering if these local news organizations might want or like to hear something that's more like locally directed, like, oh, go to, Meridian solar tour or something, so it just really ties in because Great Lakes Renewable Energy, I mean, it's obviously great, but it's supposed to encompass the entire Great Lakes, right? So, whereas, these local news broadcasts, I think might like to hear something that's, oh yeah, go to like this local township's page or something. Once again, I don't know. I haven't approached them yet. I'm just wondering, trying to think ahead of it a little bit.
Well, Meridian, again, sort of Meridian is likely to look at it through their lens. At least home TV is. So if we maybe create a page for Meridian's sites that links, not necessarily sending them to the YouTube channel, but just, we could certainly create a page for Meridian sites. And then on that page,
I'm on the YouTube right now. It's good.
On that page could be a link to the state tour as well. So.
And is it on Facebook too?
Well, when Meridian puts something out, they put it out on social media, Instagram, Facebook as well. Okay. But there's usually some sort of a media announcement or even a media page on our website.
Okay. Well, whatever's easiest, I'll just kind of put out some feelers and see, if I can get a little interest, and then I can maybe send them an email with kind of a description on sort of what to say and where to send people.
Too, and I have very little knowledge of how this all stuff works, but apparently when people are looking for this stuff, whether it's Meridian Township or GLREA, they're going to be wanting to look for the playlist because, there could be other videos, especially Meridian Township. They got a zillion videos. So you'd have to look for the playlist that includes the solar stories.
Yeah, and we've got a little time to talk about this. I appreciate the conversation because there's just a lot of ways that people find out about stuff. Yeah. And I think we're all sort of learning about what works. When you talk about local media, Fox, State News, State Journal, whatever, maybe there's a place where we can also post some of those past news stories. Just gives them a little bit extra attention. And then sometimes those stories are, include video or not, but they include at least a written accounts. So if we start collecting those stories somewhere, that might be helpful. Rob mentioned a couple.
Yeah.
Anywho, anything else on the solar stories? Let's see. The virtual tour, going once. Oh, I was going to ask one thing. Are we still active with our solar coaches? And do we want to be promoting some of those fact sheets? So say if someone gets inspired, we've got a list of contractors, we've got solar coaches, we've got additional information. I assume this is just all part of the packet that would be given out, but the solar coach is still active?
I don't think that, as far as I know, none of us have had any recent business. but yeah, we're still around. And what ended up happening, I ended up expanding it beyond Meridian Township because people express interest. So I've got now some folks, other parts of the state, in case I get inquiries from Southeast Michigan or Western Michigan. So that's nice. But I think there's about 6 people who volunteered, 3 of us from Meridian Township. But as far as I know, we haven't got any recent inquiries. But I'm glad you brought that up, Leroy. We'll want to, we'll have a updated solar installers list from GLREA, frequently asked questions. We have that 1-pager on the solar energy advisors. Yeah, all that stuff should be somehow available when people take the tour.
Sounds good. I just have a brief update on the Solar RFP. Denise has been working on that, and we're hoping to do a walkthrough later in July. And then I don't have an exact date of when the RFPs will be due, but I'm hoping that by the end of July would be a good cutoff. So that's about what I've got right now.
Well, Leroy, would you confirm, does the RFP as planned include the farmer's market and the South Fire Station?
Yes, that
Okay.
is correct. Yep. And farmers market's scheduled for completion in early August, so we'll see how that goes. But if you haven't
That
been
right
by,
across from the Township Hall and like that development going on right there.
Yep.
That I've seen next to Nancy Moore Park. I go there all the time and I see this big development. That's what that is. Oh, that's so cool. That's going to be really neat. I thought that was like some sort of commercial business or something, constructing some sort of new building. So that's the new farmer's market. Oh.
Yep, farmer's market with plenty of parking.
Yeah, tons of parking, right? Yeah, that's great.
Lots of parking.
Right.
It'll be a big change. It'll be a big change from the old site.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's why I was going to say when we were emailing about 20 kilowatts on the farmer's market, I was like, that even seems like a lot for what I pictured as the current, farmer's market, which is just that one roof, but now with this new development, that's much bigger structure. That makes a lot more sense now. So yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, let's see. What else do you all want to talk about today?
Well, let's talk a little about the potential RFP for a PPA. How do you like all those acronyms?
A lot of acronyms.
Yeah, we did have Bob Chapman talk to the Environmental Commission. I thought that was helpful just to get some education of folks. I gather from things you said or emails, right, Leroy, there is interest.
Sorry. Yes, there is interest, but I'm thinking that the general thrust is that there's just a lot of construction going on right now that we may want to hold off till next year on this, but it's not too early to work on the PPA. So
that's such a lengthy sort of process too, that if maybe the initial sort of planning phase would be this year, but then it would be more of like a next year actual breaking ground. I wouldn't expect it to be a quick turnaround for something like that.
All the more reason to start.
Hey, Leroy, I had thrown out one idea of having Derek and our township manager talk to the city manager over in Muskegon Heights. It's kind of like a conference call, Zoom call or something, just to give them a chance to talk to somebody who's gone through it.
I like that idea. Yep.
You want to mention that to Derek as a?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
And sort of related to that, I did make some pretty big sort of advancements in deciphering the demand charge stuff. So now my software and stuff, we have the ability to actually build in the intricate demand charges over the course of a year, which is going to make it a lot easier to figure out what, kind of that solar offset would be, and to determine if storage is, viable and feasible. So it's, obviously it is complicated, but I just had a whole conference with the software programmer people, and that's all possible. So it's good. Yeah.
Cool. Fantastic. I guess on one other related note, there was some interest in maybe doing some conservation improvements this year, if we can kind of tie them into the HVAC. I'm supposed to meet with the electrical contractor perhaps next week to kind of scope out the possibilities. I was under the assumption that there was money in the revolving energy fund, and there is, but it's not in the budget this year, so it would require a budget amendment to change our budget. There's also some concern about further disruption in the town hall building, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead with the meeting and just discuss with the electrician possibilities for immediate and longer term, looking at sort of other buildings besides just the town hall as we move forward with the energy efficiency. So slow but sure.
Oh, and speaking of efficiency, this is something I've always known, but I've gotten more direct examples of it recently. I have a client in East Lansing that their project was just completed, and he's saying that now that the panels are covering a section of his house, that he has thermostats in each room, like one of the smart thermostats that can control each room individually, and he's seeing a across the board 4-degree drop in that room when the sun is peak sun during the day. So I'm like, you start to think about what kind of efficiency and energy savings that creates over the long term, on your air conditioning and stuff. It's kind of more drastic maybe than I would have expected, which is a pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I
like
thought that was really neat.
And a lot of people don't have that data, right?
Yeah, I haven't really found any real firm sort of data backing that up, but seeing it in practice where he's like, yeah, this is like a 4-degree drop right off the bat.
Yeah, and logically,
wow.
Logically makes sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rob, I meant to mention that in my solar story last week, because my garage is way cooler now in the heat of the summer. It's a fantastic difference. It used to be really hot, even though the attic is insulated. And it's just, I really wish I had the data, because it's a noticeable difference. It's much more pleasant in these summer afternoons.
And it makes sense, because it's either being absorbed in the panels itself or being reflected. So I wish there were more studies out there showing that, because then you could actually start to piece together some real data on this is how much you're going to save on efficiency over the summer just from that pure heat savings or reflection of that heat. So I thought that was just a really neat.
Globally it's a really interesting thing for like African solar, Indian. Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of those more arid.
Yeah, I wonder if they have some of the data. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I forgot to mute myself. Somebody mute me. There's mute me on the bounty. I think
That's a bad joke.
That was bad. I should share meeting hosting with responsibilities with someone who's more responsible than me. If I knew how to do that, I would. Okay, so we want to talk about our next meeting, and obviously there's another solar story tonight. There's some other educational opportunities. What else do people have on their agenda for today? We lost Bob Wasserman, but perhaps it was a learning experience for him. When do we want to meet again?
Up to you guys. I mean, maybe like either the 9th or the 16th, if we want to stick to Thursdays.
Let's see. Any preferences? I mean, the 16th.
For me, 9th or 16th is fine.
The 16th would be the third Thursday.
Probably the 9th would be better for me.
Okay. Should we go with July 9th then at 11?
Works for
That's
me.
good.
Yes, that's fine.
Great. John, do you want to say anything about the solar story tonight?
Well, it's a ground mount system. Let's see. I kind of forget some of the specifics. Roger, you mentioned something about it being intriguing. What intrigued you, Roger?
Oh, it's a do-it-yourself job.
Okay, right.
He installed it himself, and it was a ground mount, and it was significant power. And so there was clearly some thought and effort put into it, and I'm just curious about what the person is up to. Do you know where it is, John? Where is it? Is it in town here? Or?
What's that?
Is it here in the? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I will post the info in the notes here. Hopefully that'll come through. There's also a couple of interesting things happening. I'll send you the links on those as well. There's a new podcast from the Climate Action Network. And the first one features the Missy Stoltz with the Ann Arbor Sustainability Innovations Manager.
She came and spoke here in East Lansing. Was it last year at one of the climate conferences? I think you were there, John.
Well, she was on. No, wait. Was she on the panel with you, Roger?
Oh dear, I don't remember the name, but maybe.
That was like at the East Lansing Library, I think, or over there.
I know the League of Women Voters had her.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, she did the whole program. That must be actually, Roger. I think you had Detroit and Grand Rapids, but
right.
Yeah, but
she was great. I learned a lot.
Yeah, she was good. Yeah. Oh, this leads me to think though, Leroy, the City of Lansing now has a new sustainability coordinator. And I imagine you kind of know her, Leroy, right? Because she's been involved with recycling. And have you had any contacts since she got her new job?
Just through the regional recycling group. I haven't spoken with her specifically. I did share our climate action plan with her a few months ago and a couple months ago maybe. But yeah, I haven't really, she's been kind of mum on it through our little recycling network. I know she's got her hands full also with the regional MRF that's being built. So has anyone else, have you had any contact with her, John, or where did you hear about it?
Oh, the League of Women Voters, they're been pushing the sustainability coordinator for Lansing for a while. So I kind of see emails about a recent meeting that they had with her and, so I'm kind of indirectly getting some information. I know she's got her new job. And I was kind of joking with some of my contacts. It's probably like, Leroy, when you became environmental programs coordinator, right? You have more responsibility, same number of hours in a week.
Yeah. This brings up that there may be some real opportunities for partnerships regionally. I know everybody's got their hands full with lots of stuff. But some of the work that we're doing is certainly of regional significance. And as we move forward in reviewing our environmental policies, Tri-County Regional Planning Commission, Cliff Wells, who's also on the East Lansing Commission on the Environment, could be a real asset. They recently helped Lansing look at their form-based code. And so I don't have anything definitive to propose, but I just, I know Lori will be looking for help. And to the extent that we can sort of frame some of what we're doing regionally, I think it might not sit well with some people, but I think it could be sort of a catalyst for us working with local media and some of our regional partners. So thank you for thinking regionally and asking.
Quick question. Are all the recycling centers back up and running? Because I know they're now, stores are finally starting to take cans back. So I was wondering, because I have a mountain of recycling that I need to actually get out there and start to, I don't want to throw it away, obviously.
Yeah, there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about Michigan's recycling piling up. Yeah.
Really?
So they just started curbside. We normally didn't do curbside. We took it to MSU, but that was closed. And
yeah, that's what I do.
And then we got a container by accident, even though we don't do it curbside. And so we got it out this week and got some. But no, I don't know if MSU is open yet.
Because if they are open, or recycling centers in general are open, I think definitely might be a good idea to kind of try to get the word out, because I think there's probably a lot of people, like me, who are wondering, and I am afraid that people are just kind of like, I don't know, I can't keep this stuff anymore, I just need to throw it out. And that would be unfortunate if especially a lot of metal was thrown away.
Yeah.
When that really should be recycled.
Yeah.
Rob, the one on Lake Drive, around Lake Lansing, has been open the entire time.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. So
I had no idea. Lake Drive.
I had no idea either. Yeah.
Curbside has been open too.
Has it?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also for the returnable bottles and cans, there are some people doing it for charity work. There's somebody doing it for Ellie's Place, and you can just drop him off at his house and he takes care of it.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I had no idea.
Whose house?
It's somebody over in Tacoma Hills.
Okay.
It was on next door. I don't know if he's full up, but he got a storage place and.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know.
That is pretty cool. Yeah,
Granger had said they weren't doing curbside.
Yeah, they've been doing it throughout for Meridian.
Yeah, no problem. I've had it.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
But we
They've
just
been
got
doing
this container, so
yard waste and everything else too.
Huh.
Of course, it's all going in the landfill, but hey, they're picking it up.
Right.
No, I'm just
especially
kidding.
metal. Metal needs to be recycled. That's just far too carbon intensive to just pull it out of the ground, especially. So I just really don't want piles of metal being thrown away locally if we can help it, So yeah, I don't know if there's a way to get the word out. Hey, recycling, it's still open, get out there. I have a feeling there's a lot of people probably wondering, kind of like I've been.
Yeah.
Especially since I don't get curbside.
Yep. There is a, I put the link for our recycling center in the notes. I don't know if you can see the chat window.
You. Yeah, I do.
But there is an interest in updating those regional recycling sites. I'm not totally up on it. I should be, but nice birds, by the way, Roger.
Okay, so this is open. Excellent. All right.
Okay. I know Michigan Energy Options has another webinar coming up. Is it tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow, yeah.
It looks like a good one about cities and their efforts, sustainability efforts.
Cool.
Yeah, I wanted to join that. I have a doctor's appointment during that time, unfortunately. So I'm going to see if I can maybe have Dan, my partner, see if he can join it, because I was really interested in that. I thought that looked really cool.
All right. Well, anything else for the good of the whole? Try and keep these to an hour, but it's not necessary. We can we can stop early or go later. But I know you guys want to get outside and tweet.
Oh, I wish.
Just kidding. John's got to get his 5 miles in today. I ran into John on the interurban the other day, and it was kind of fun to chat with him.
Cool.
The interurban. What is that?
It goes from the water treatment plant over to Marsh Road along the right of way.
Is it can you link up to it through Nancy Moore?
Yes.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I've been on there many times. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It's a dedicated trail. Although the geese are kind of, Leroy and I ran into the geese. There's 3 families of geese that are kind of taking up one section of the interurban, and if you get too close, they kind of go,
Oh, well, I have a strategy for that, John, for you, because I lived on a lake in North Carolina. They hiss at you, you hiss right back.
You're like, oh, well, excuse me.
Yeah, if they hiss at you, you just hiss back at them, and they're kind of like stunned. I don't know.
Try it next time. That's a good tip. None of them have attacked me yet, and it's been kind of fun watching the little ones grow up. But
That's great. I don't have any problem with that when I take my border collie with me.
Right. That's the hiss. That's the hiss back. Yeah. All right. That's the geese strategy, not getting bit by a goose.
That's a good thing.
That's a good ending point, right?
Right.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks for your updates.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Okay.
Take
bye,
care.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.